Now, yes. I pretend to be busy when the music is on, just
Oh,
people can
okay.
wait. But it's just an intro,
Okay, excellent.
make it easy to edition. I don't need to add anything. I already do the intro during the recording. So thank you so much for coming, for joining Manada Podcast. I know we we are in touch since Vegan Jobs Ireland back 2018. You
Yeah.
participate some interview there. I'm really happy to have you answering the interview. There are a lot of people that follows Vegan Jobs Ireland. They love
Oh,
and
great. Great
and
to
it,
hear. Well,
yeah,
thank you for having me on here. I'm delighted to be on the podcast. A true honor.
cool. Very thanks so much. And I know you're vegan, and I have a question for you.
Okay.
Where do you get your protein from?
Oh, well, the funny thing is, protein is widely, as you know yourself, it's widely abundant across the plant kingdom.
Totally.
It doesn't have to come from animal products. I think that's kind of an outdated theory or approach anyway. I think people are starting to not only consider the animals and the planet more, but also their health. You can get protein virtually anywhere,
Totally.
as you know,
I
beans, lentils, tofu,
tofu.
yeah, everything. Yeah, virtually be your nuts, your seeds. A very
Totally.
varied diet.
Totally. These are the
Yeah,
main ones: tofu, lentils, and beans for
beans.
me.
I love lentil pasta or just any bean-based pasta because you feel like you're eating a healthier pasta but getting a protein punch in there as well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Very nice. Let me know. I know it can be complex and long, but what made you become vegan?
Oh, it is quite a long story.
Yeah.
So when I was 6, I befriended a pig, a rescue pig, and I noticed at a very young age how she was afraid of certain people. She was afraid of adults, but she wasn't most specifically men because she came from a slaughterhouse and a farm. So she
Totally.
knew that it was men that she was afraid of, but she wasn't afraid of children. So it was always the neighbors' kids that used to go in and feed the pig. But over time, I was very intrigued by her. Over time, I gained her trust and befriended her, and it totally, I guess you could say, it opened a few doors. I started asking my mum questions about where food came from, and yeah, so I became a vegetarian quite young. It was only in latter years that I realized that eggs and dairy are also um, a cruel enough process as well. So um, I guess it was a little bit of some self research, and I think it was actually PETA videos that I saw on Instagram. Someone shared about the dairy industry and the egg industry that made me go, "Oh wow, I have to do something." And at the time, I didn't really know what I was doing. I knew how to be a good vegetarian and how to make it work. I didn't know how to be vegan, and I think that's kind of the problem a lot of people
Totally.
face is that it's like unlearning everything you knew before and relearning something totally new, a whole new approach, whole new foods, and you have to learn where to get different nutrients from. It's a very different diet. One I can't fault, but it's a very different diet and a very different lifestyle for sure.
Yeah. At the beginning, we don't know anything about it. We have that feeling like we want to be vegan, but and you don't know. You wonder like, but what am I gonna eat? Like where am I gonna get the protein? Like I always make
Yeah,
that joke because that's the main question. Like people don't know, and I was that person that I didn't know as well, but I want to
yeah,
be vegan, and that's where we fail because
yeah,
we start being vegan without knowing where to get protein from, and then we feel weak because we're not eating
yeah.
properly, and then we give up.
Yeah,
You
well, I
know,
find as well with protein, I think in the fitness sector, it's greatly exaggerated and overly prioritized. It's more a case of just ensuring you get a very balanced diet and get enough fiber, get enough iron. You're more likely to be nutrient deficient in iron and fiber than you are protein. Protein is so widely abundant that you're not going to have a protein deficiency. extremely rare to have a protein deficiency. So I think people are asking the wrong question when they ask about, like, the first question they ask is, where do you get your protein? I don't think that's the should be the go-to question when transitioning into a vegan diet. It should be, how can I be healthier? How can I achieve a varied diet as a vegan?
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like protein is not the main thing.
No,
Like
it's
there are a
not.
lot of
But
other
I
things. Like
Yeah, but I think it's kind of something that's drilled into us. The importance of protein is greatly exaggerated. There's vitamin D. People, you're more likely to have a magnesium deficiency than you are protein. I mean, there's so many other things you're going to have a deficiency in, before protein.
totally. And
Mm.
how about the nutrition part? Like it came from that because you start to learn more about food, and then that made you think more about stud nutrition, and that's why, or something else.
You mean why?
Yeah.
Sorry, could you ask the question again?
How did you go to this field of nutritionist as a
So,
nutritionist?
so I was actually working in a bank at the time, and I just hated the job. It just wasn't for me. I was working in finance, and I started a PT course in the evenings because that's something I wanted to do. It was something I was interested in, and it was
Yeah.
something that people asked me about a lot. Could I train them? But I wasn't qualified, so I started a PT course and got qualified. And then I just started doing what you learn in these courses is very minimal. I started doing an awful lot of self learning and kind of online courses as I went along. And then I guess I do constantly read books about nutrition and diet, and I kind of, through trial and error, I learn what works and what doesn't work as well.
Nice.
Mm.
And how about, I know in your Instagram you open for questions, and
Yeah,
my always wanted to know like what's the most asked question from your
and my
followers.
Q&As.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, probably my caloric intake, how many calories I eat a day, and my body
Mm.
weight, and how many days I train. And they'd be kind of the most frequently asked questions. And again, all those questions are completely irrelevant to most people. They're not something that they can at all apply to themselves. Everyone's weight's different. Everyone has different
Oh
bone
yeah,
structure, muscle
totally.
mass, age,
Yeah,
activity levels. They're kind of irrelevant questions. But again, I think that comes to people's lack of knowledge about what being healthy and fit and balanced entails.
totally. And how about you? Uh, most of people go that like you work with, are they open to veganism, or you don't mind? Is it open for everyone?
So I coach everyone, but I do tell them that the aim is to make them introduce them to a healthier, more balanced lifestyle. So, what I get them to do is fill out a food diary so I can see where they're at, and more like most people, by the time they finish with me, are practically plant based. Now, there's some people that request not to be plant based, but good health and being plant based goes hand in hand. So the vast majority of people that come to me that aren't vegan end up at least 75% plant based by the time they leave.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they make great improvements. The aim is to make them to introduce them to a healthier way of life, which
Totally.
means more plants.
Yeah. Are they also like they work out, or it's more nutrition, or
It's
they
both.
want
I
to
I, I
both?
draw up training plans and diet plans.
Nice. And how about bodybuilding, like competition? I mean, when I look at your pictures, like you you look like bodybuilder competitor. So are you
Yeah,
into
well,
that, or you just have the shape but you're not thinking about it?
oh no, I'm definitely thinking about it, but I decided to stop talking about it when I'm going to decide to hop into a show. So
All
I
right.
had prepped for a show this time last year, and there was a few complications with the show that I had decided to do, and a lot of confusion. So I didn't end up doing the show in the end, but I definitely am going to compete in the show. It's something I want to do. I guess I want to represent vegans in the bodybuilding
Totally.
realm because there's not very many,
No, no.
not enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I know a woman bodybuilder in Brazil, and I think she's the only one, and she got big just because she's the only one. I think
Yeah.
if in Ireland would be the same, like
Yeah.
it's inspiration as well, because it's like nobody expects, you know, to
Mm.
have a bodybuilder. It doesn't matter if it's woman or man. Like,
Yeah.
it's people be like, wow, how come, you know?
I know. Yeah. Well, even
It's
still now, with people ask an awful lot of questions about me being vegan. They make all sorts of assumptions, um, that I live on protein powder, and the reality of it is that I don't actually use an awful lot of protein powder at all. I don't even think about protein intake too much. I just eat a very balanced, varied diet. The aim is to be as healthy as possible and to train really hard. And building muscle is just a byproduct of feeling your best and training really hard
totally,
consistently. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, you're doing the basic stuff, you know, eating well.
yeah,
When you eat well, you get protein and enough protein. Like, it's just be conscious
yeah.
about what you're eating, and then the supplements can be, they're just
Beneficial.
supplements, you know.
Yeah, exactly. They can give you the competitive edge, but they're not going to get you over the finish line.
Totally. And there's a big market, isn't it? Supplements, etc.
I think that's why protein powder has been so popularized, because there's so much money in it. Now, that's not saying it's not a great addition. It's fantastic, and it does help people get their protein, their extra protein, and if they want to stay extra lean and they're cutting calories or whatever, and they need to get the protein in. But it's not absolutely essential. It's not absolutely
Totally.
essential that you supplement with anything really. I mean, I think if you live in Ireland, you kind of, the duller weather, you kind of need to supplement vitamin D anyway. The lack of
Totally.
sun. Yeah. But other than that, there's not a lot of supplements that you really, really need.
Yeah. Oh, people always ask me about the B12, but they don't even know what it is. But they ask me about the B12.
Oh,
How
it's one of the
about you?
go-to questions, isn't it? They all
Totally.
ask that. Or iron is another one.
Totally.
Yeah,
It's funny because they don't even know what it means,
I
B12.
know.
They just use as an argument. Like,
Yeah,
okay, when the next vegan I see around, I will ask about the B12, but they don't know what it is and what's the
yeah.
story. It's funny. It's
It's
just to
funny. It is funny, but everyone talks about B12, but it's one of the most common deficiencies there is, right?
vote for
Even in
everyone.
even non-vegans, it's a tough nutrient vitamin to get naturally.
Totally.
For
Yeah.
everybody. It's not just
Yeah.
exclusive to vegans.
And then we can see that people are just trying to
Pick
put
holes.
us, yeah, you know.
Mm,
Oh God.
yeah, absolutely.
How about like your day-to-day foods? There's something special, or it's just normal things like you
Uh,
said, like lentils, or you do like
It's
fancy things?
about I don't do anything fancy. I keep it simple. So I tend to just go and buy loads of fruits and vegetables I like, loads of beans and lentils, and I like bean-based pastas, herbs and spices. Soy yogurt is probably the most processed thing I eat, but even then, it's only a couple of ingredients. Nuts and seeds, and I make an awful lot of food at home. And I think that's where the hard work comes in, is where I make a lot of stuff. I make most of my meals at home because I like to know what I'm eating and
Totally.
exactly what's in my meals. You can't really trust the old pre-made meals all the time.
Totally. That that's the way I am. I try to do my own things.
Mm.
They're not fancy, but they easy to do, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
tasty anyway.
exactly.
I
Yeah,
like my
exactly.
everyday tofu, lentils, and
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Oh, same here. Tofu scramble on toast is unbeatable. It's so
Totally.
good. Yeah.
Nice. Uh, how about training? Like, how you do like ABC type of training, or depending, you change a lot, like
It doesn't
chest, like
change. So I train 6 days a week. And I separate each training day I isolate groups on each training day, and then I put them in rotation so they have enough time to recover between sessions. So let's say,
right.
for example, on a Monday, I might do arms. So it'll be bicep, tricep, forearm. Tuesday, I'll do back. Wednesday, I'll do shoulders. Thursday, I'll do legs. And then I repeat.
Right.
But by the time I come back to arms, they're really recovered. They have recovered well, because they were trained
That
on
makes
Monday.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. Very nice.
yeah.
There's something I would like to ask you. Let
Mm.
me get projects, things that's is going on with you. Like, would you like to share something interesting about
Projects.
your career or something else?
Um, projects. Um, well, I guess I could say I don't like talking about it too much. But I don't want to jinx myself. But there is a show on the way, a bodybuilding show. So I'll be prepping for that and sharing my journey, hopefully.
That's
And
cool.
then it's like, yeah, and then
Ireland.
no, it's not in Ireland.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Secret.
We'll see. We'll
Okay.
see. It's not a secret, but it's just I want it to happen, and I'm afraid because I told everyone I was doing the
Yeah.
last show, and then it didn't
Yeah. Yeah.
happen, and
Oh,
it's
I
just
know what you mean.
so
Yeah.
disappointing, you know.
Okay.
Um. So another thing is I started painting again. I know it's not fitness related, but it's another way to raise awareness, I suppose, for um misunderstood animals. So I have a like it's like I guess a second job you could say because I do sell the art.
All right.
Um, so it's like animals. Right now I'm doing an animal collection of animals that are either overly hunted or are dying out and endangered because of deforestation. So yeah, I'm just trying to shine light on um, problems that some
Very
species
nice.
encounter. Yeah, that's all that's going on really. And aside from that, just working the coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I work with clients all over the world. Aside from that, nothing. Yeah,
All right.
life's boring.
You do it online, right? You're coaching.
Yeah. I coach online. I find that I can work my own hours and I'm not limited to having to go into a gym and train people in a gym because then
Mm,
I'm I'm limited to local clients, whereas now I can
right.
work with anyone all over the world, you know?
Right.
Yeah, so it works
Right.
well.
So you do nutrition
And
uh,
training.
and training. That's
Hmm.
cool.
Yeah,
And
it
that
is
work well.
cool.
Yeah. A lot of personal trainers doing it online, and that's working well.
Yeah. And
For
it works
for a
well. I
few
think
people.
it suits a lot of people as well, a lot of clients. A lot of clients don't like to be restricted to certain times meeting their personal trainer in the gym as well, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
because sometimes they can't make it. So it
Yeah.
works for them as well.
Yeah. Nice. And how do you do? Like, are you like? Do you like sweets, desserts,
Oh, I
cakes,
love
things like
sweets.
that?
Yes, I do.
How
I
how
love sweets.
how do you control yourself to keep your
Um,
lean body and eat all those lovely
nice
stuff?
things.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I allow myself something nice every day. I find if you restrict things and you never eat them, that's when you start to build up almost like cravings and you're more inclined to binge. If you don't eat something because it's forbidden, when you do eventually eat it, you probably won't be able to control yourself and you'll eat too much of it. So
Totally.
I just say to myself, oh, after dinner, I'll have something that I like and I'll have a small treat. So I guess the key for me is portion control. So
All right.
like a few squares of dark chocolate or a bag of popcorn or whatever it is that I feel like a slice of cake, but portion control. So I'll have one and then I'll be done. And I know I have it tomorrow. So, and I think as well, just, if you don't have to smash a whole bag of crisps or a
Totally.
whole bag, a big bag of crisps or a big bag of
Yeah.
cookies, they're going to be there tomorrow. What's the rush?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
have a couple, enjoy yourself, and
Yeah.
then move on.
It's hard to control. I know.
It can be.
For
Yeah, it
me,
can
it can
be.
be. I don't
Yeah.
know if you know, but I was 140 kilos on my early 20s. Like,
Geez, you've come a long way.
yeah. So, like a very obese person. And I was eating
Okay.
like crazy. And now
Okay.
I still have that mindset. Like years ago, like I want to eat everything, but I have to control myself. Otherwise,
Yeah.
sometimes, like most of the time, I'm on my way. Like, uh,
Yeah, but you've overcome something more than just a binge or a splurge. You've overcome something that was completely controlling your life.
Totally.
Yeah, so you've
Totally.
changed your life. It was mind over matter for you, and I know for some people it's almost a disease when they're overweight and they food controls them. It's like a compulsion, so it's not easy. Yeah, you've done an amazing job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, it ups and downs. Sometimes I
yeah,
just buy a cake and I destroy the cake in one go, and
yeah,
then I don't eat cake for the rest of next 3 4 months, something like
yeah,
that. But I know it's not the best thing because the next day after you eating a whole cake, you feel
mm,
really bad, like regret it.
yeah.
But
Well,
you
yeah,
know,
that's why I think I don't know if you can because of your history. I might be able to. I'm not sure. You'll know yourself a little bit and divide it across the week, so then you're not going any prolonged period of time without it. Do you know?
yeah,
It's just a thought. I don't know if it works for some people. It doesn't work for others.
yeah.
Yeah,
Some people they need to be very radical, very like
yeah,
extreme,
yeah. And
especially
nothing in the house. Yeah,
yeah, especially if you're in competition that you really cut a lot of things, carbs, sweets, and
yeah,
like people get crazy.
yeah,
But thanks so much for joining. I'm very happy to have you here participating
yeah.
in this podcast. Very we are just beginning, but it's good to have you
I'm
here.
delighted. I'm delighted to have been here. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Thanks
Um,
so much.
and it's always lovely to talk to another vegan bodybuilder.
Yeah, thanks for calling me bodybuilder. I'm just
You are
enthusiastic.
absolutely. Yeah, no, you are absolutely. You are. If you're building muscle, you're a bodybuilder.
Totally, totally. Nice. Thanks so much, and
Thank you.
uh, enjoy your rest of the night.
Okay, and you too. Thank you for having
Cheers.
me.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Okay, bye
Bye.
now.